This episode is brought to you by Google Gemini. With the Gemini app, you can talk live and have a real-time conversation with an AI assistant. It's great for all kinds of things, like if you want to practice for an upcoming interview, ask for advice on things to do in a new city, or brainstorm creative ideas. And by the way, this script was actually read by Gemini. Download the Gemini app for iOS and Android today. Must be 18 plus to use Gemini Live.
This is the sound of your ride home with Dad after he caught you vaping. Awkward, isn't it? Most vapes contain seriously addictive levels of nicotine and disappointment. Know the real cost of vapes. Brought to you by the FDA.
So, wait, what do you think about the time dragon? I mean, let's start with the time dragon because I feel like it's like a propaganda tool, right?
Yeah, because it goes around all over the place, like putting on its little show,
Mm-hmm.
and then it like stirs people up.
Hi, this is Dr. Andrew Rimby, host of the Ivory Tower Boiler Room Arts and Culture podcast. If you haven't, please take a second to rate us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Please make sure you're following us on Spotify or Apple. And did you know we have a YouTube channel? Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It really means a lot. You can actually see a lot of our video episodes on YouTube. And if you don't want to listen to any ads that are going to happen throughout the episode, even though I love all of our sponsors, of course, you can listen to our ad-free episodes on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Ivory Tower Boiler Room. And right now, you can get 1 week for free to see all of the ad-free episodes. And all of those episodes are also video episodes. So you can get to watch me, the guest, and you can also listen to all of Mary's True Crime and Academia episodes ad-free. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the episode.
Welcome to the ITBR Book Club. Angela, Nicole, my mom, Kathy Rimby, Christian Garcia from That Old Gay Classic Cinema. So Angela, my mom, and Nicole were on Broadway with me to see Wicked. So that's very fresh in our minds. So I guess like just going around, what number time is this of you reading Gregory Maguire's book? Is this your first time? You know, just hearing about where everyone's checking in with Gregory Maguire's book. So maybe Angela. I'm going to go. I think it's Angela, then my mom, Christian, then Nicole.
Okay.
This was my first time reading the book. So it was my third time seeing the show on Broadway. Well, second time seeing it on Broadway. I saw it once on the West End, but this is my first time reading it. So very new to Gregory Maguire.
First timer. Okay. And
Yeah.
first time for any Gregory Maguire. Like you've never read his other fairy tale retellings? Okay.
Yeah, this is the first one.
Okay. Mom.
Similar to Angela, first time reading Gregory Maguire. Saw Wicked 3 times as well. Once in New York City many years ago when it was the original cast, I think. In fact, Andrew, you were a little boy when you went. My sister took us up there and then saw it in Philadelphia. Did not enjoy it as much because of the venue. I love the venue, but it's not meant for, the Gershwin Theater, is the place to see it. And then just saw it with the group trip and thought that was excellent.
Yeah. Well, in Philly, my dad literally could have reached his hand up and blocked the whole spotlight for Glinda during No One Mourns the Wicked.
Oh no.
So they really trusted the audience.
It was really, I think that distracted us. It distracted.
Yeah, that was but Colleen
like
Sexton, if you know Colleen Sexton, she was Alphabet. She was incredible.
She was one of my absolute favorites
her.
that I've ever seen.
Yeah, I actually remember telling her at the stage door after, I'm like, I saw the original with Adina Menzel, and I actually think you blew her away in the performance. And she's like, She's like, well, that's nice, but I'm sure she did a good job.
Yeah.
She's phenomenal. I loved her
She
as
just-
Lucy and Jekyll and Hyde. She's great.
Yes.
So good. And
Yes.
oh, yeah, she's the only thing that makes that recording savable with David
With David Hasselhoff. Oh my
David
God.
Hasselhoff.
You
Oh
should
my
look on
God.
you should look on YouTube for the one that they did as prep for that DVD with
Mm.
the real Dr. Jekyll, Rob Evans.
Ooh, okay,
Oh.
Nicole, we'll have to do that.
Yes.
Yeah. See,
Not
they
to
should have
digress,
released that.
But I know, right? That was like,
I know.
there's not even any comparison. Anyway, not
Yeah,
to
yeah.
digress.
Yeah, but no, the only person who wasn't in it was Kristen Chenoweth. But she had left, so it was still it was like a year and a half into the run.
Did you
So
have
I think that Dina, who? Sorry, Nicole.
Megan Hilty?
No, it was actually Jennifer. She was in Footloose as Ariel.
Oh,
It'll come to me. She was just in was she in Dear Evan Hansen? She was in one of the recent musicals.
not Jennifer Samard?
No.
Jennifer
no.
Laura Thompson.
Thank you.
I think, yeah, there we
Yes,
go.
yeah.
See, I know she had a
Thank you,
middle name.
Angela.
Couldn't
That's who it
believe
was.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it was okay. I mean, it would have been wonderful to see Kristen Chenoweth. But I think Adina by that time, I just know her voice had that's such a demanding role, and I think she had a lot of tension in her voice.
Mm.
So, I know she's so good, but that part is and she was still smoking then during the run.
Fun, Andrea, the
Really?
New York.
In
New York
New
or
York, the
Philadelphia?
original.
Mhm.
No,
Oh,
Idina
so we didn't
Menzel.
see Kristen Chenoweth. I don't know. It's a long time ago.
No, but we did see Idina, and I think we saw Joel Grey, if I remember. But
Yes, yes.
we did see Joel
was
Grey.
in it. Yes, he was.
Yeah, it was everyone except Kristen, because she only stayed for 6 months, I think. Because didn't she go into Pushing Daisies on TV?
Oh,
I
yeah.
think. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Nicole, how many times have you seen the musical?
This was number 22.
Wow.
But
That's incredible.
that includes seeing it on tour a whole lot in Ohio before I moved to New York.
Yeah.
And I have to say, this cast that we saw last month was among the best I've ever seen.
They were so
good.
but I mean, especially Donna McKechnie, who I just love from A Chorus Line, like Music in the
Yeah.
Mirror. But
Tony Award winner. Mhm.
she was so frightening as Madame Morble. There was just
Loved it.
it
Loved
was
it.
scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can get into it when we talk about Glinda and the
And then-
differences. There's so much to talk about, but
And then as
Yeah.
far as reading the book, this is definitely not my first time reading it. I couldn't tell you how many times I have read it.
Does it get easier each time you read it? Because this is kind of tedious. I hate to
It
say
is.
Don't tell Gregory. Don't.
I will say this is one of the few instances where I actually prefer the musical.
Oh,
I'm allowed to say that.
hey, you can say whatever you want. Yeah.
But
It's up
yeah,
to you. Freedom of speech.
Yeah.
We're not the wizard.
true.
Um,
But yeah, it is. It's
there's
not the
a
easiest
lot of
read,
parts.
for
There's
sure.
a lot. I feel like I need to take notes. Who's who and where are they? And
Yeah.
you feel
Yeah.
like that, Angela? I felt
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh my
definitely.
gosh, I can't keep certain people straight with,
mhm.
who's
Wait,
who.
Nicole, how many Gregory Maguire books have you read? Have you read a lot of the series of Wicked?
I've read the whole series of Wicked.
Wow.
I
Okay.
have not read the sequel series Maricourt yet.
Okay.
I'm still working on that. I've read a couple of his other fairy tale retellings. I think there's a Cinderella and a Snow White.
Yes, I love Mirror Mirror
Yes.
because it's set in the Renaissance
Yes.
with the bourgeois, and Lucretia Bourgeois dyes her hair blonde with lemon juice, and she's the evil queen. I think Mirror Mirror is so good, and Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister. Yeah.
Yep.
Which wasn't that a TV film? I think.
With Stockard Channing as,
Yeah.
as the stepmother. Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah.
I'll
I think
look
that's how I
Made
found
by
out
Disney, of all things, of all companies. Disney was the one who
Yeah.
made it.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, it's on YouTube, Nicole.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
But a very low
Or
quality.
anyone out there who wants to watch. It's Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister. But
I've read a good amount of his other stuff as well.
okay, so how would you rank Wicked in comparison to like Mirror Mirror Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister? Is it your favorite novel he's written, or do you like another one more?
I mean, I do have a special place in my heart for Wicked just because I love the musical so much. But like you were saying with Mirror Mirror, I really like that was like historically grounded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I feel like, I mean, not that Wicked is necessarily completely original, because, obviously it came from The Wizard of Oz, but I feel like there was more room for him to kind of, do some original things like with the politics and all of that sort of thing, maybe more so than there was in some of the others.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Christian, what time, how many times have you read Wicked?
I'd say this is my third or fourth time reading it. I was actually once when I saw the original cast back in 2004, I believe. My mom got me the copy of the book, and I was like in middle school at that time. And I brought it to class, and all of my teachers were giving like skeptical looks at me, like, "Why are you reading like an adult book for like such a middle school?" Like, no, I'm just looking at the pictures, you know. So I couldn't exactly understand everything that Gregory said, but once I was in high school, I was actually able to read, and I just devoured it. But it is very tedious. I actually, speaking of libraries, I actually found my library card. I actually got the audiobook, the CDs, and I rented that. So I read it along with the book as well, because I'm weird like that. I like to be fully ingrained in what I'm reading. So I like to have a fully engaged reading.
I've been doing the audiobook.
I was re-listening.
It's 20 hours, so
It is.
And he's a good performer.
I love
like
the voice. Is he
John McDonough?
John McDonough. He actually did Out of Oz and Lion of Oz as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he has a good voice for it.
like
Lion Among Men. Sorry, I'm thinking of
Yeah, so this came out actually, right, 1995.
the year I was born.
Yeah, I always think it's ahead of its time in a way. With the politics of it. Okay, so let's just dive right into Wicked, right? I think what I'm always interested in with this novel is I love a map. And we have a nice like
map on a wall.
Map of the land, right? And this is what they incorporate into the musical. And correct me if I'm wrong, Nicole, but I think this is in the intermission or in the opening, right?
Yeah, this is
You see that in like before the show opens.
Yeah, this is the curtain.
There.
This is
the curtain.
Okay.
And Emerald City's like glowing in green, right? On stage.
Yeah, but like backlit with little green like points of light. Yes.
Yeah. So how much did you all rely on? So I've taught Wicked before to my students. So like these are just some questions I've asked my students too. So if it starts to sound like
we're not your
too pedantic, to say, hey, we have other topics we want to discuss. But like just as an entryway, like did you look at the map a lot as you were reading?
I did.
No, but I
was trying to pinpoint where each character was and where it fell in with the scheme of things. So that's I like a good visual.
I wish I did.
Wait, you can, Mom. You can always reread it.
I will.
But do you think it's helpful? Like, is it something that would distract you for your first time reading? Because I actually didn't look at the map a lot when I first read it. I kind of looked back at it after I read it. Like, again, I was like Christian, though. I read the book, right? We saw it on Broadway in 2000, and it opens in what, 2003, right?
It opened 2003, yeah.
So I saw it in 2004. So I was 12. Yeah. So 12, 13, 14. Yeah. I was in 6th grade when I first read the novel.
It's funny how we turn into each other.
I know. That's funny. But Angela, like, how did you make out the map? Like, was it something you were focused on, or it was kind of, you like glossed over it as you were reading?
Yeah, I glossed over it as I was reading. I wasn't really looking at it too much because it does kind of get distracting. And I listened to the audiobook, so I didn't always have the book on me. So a lot of the times I was just listening to it, so I didn't have the book to like refer back to physically.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think that it would have, like, now looking back at it, do you think it adds a different layer, or
Definitely.
it
Yeah.
does? Okay.
Yeah. And then I'll
Yeah.
definitely, if I ever do reread it, I'll definitely probably refer back to it more. And it might,
Okay.
yeah, make a lot more sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So reread it by next week. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm joking. And then Nicole, how much have you looked at the map since you've read the book a few times?
I would say I looked at it more after the first time I read it. I think I would agree with what everyone else is saying of like, when I first read it, I was also pretty young the first time I read it. I was a senior in high school. I was actually in the middle of reading the novel the first time I saw the show. So yeah, the first time I read it, I I think I probably was just reading it and not taking a whole lot of time to, flip back and forth between the map and the story. But once I had read it once and kind of absorbed it all initially, then I feel like I went back and paid more attention to the map.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just thinking if I was Gregory Maguire's publicist, I would add a ticket option where people could get the book with their ticket in like a goodie, like a gift bag.
Mm-mm.
They should I don't know why they don't do that actually.
Missed marketing opportunity.
I know they should have like you win, like one audience member wins the whole series in like an Oz bag. If anyone from Wicked's listening,
I'm pretty sure they sell it at the merch stands.
They
I'm trying to
do.
remember. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They also sell Shiz University sweatpants that I was gonna buy, but I'm glad I didn't because they were $50. So I
In
don't.
a tote bag. They have a Shiz University
And
tote
your
bag.
mother was there to tell you don't
Yeah.
do it.
Well, I have the hat. I do have the hat. That was from the merch from when I went with my students. This I found on Etsy, but
Nice.
yeah, Etsy has some nice, right? Christian, I'm guessing that's some kind of
They
Etsy creation.
didn't sell the books though at the show, right?
Well, that's what I'm trying to remember. I don't
Okay.
actually think I saw the book at the merch store. Oh no.
It was from when I went the last time that they did sell the book.
Oh no. Maybe they've moved everything digital. Well, that's something is I just remember Gregory Maguire in our interview. He's told me about how basically when he sold the rights, they would consult with him, but it was kind of like courtesy consulting. Like he even got to go to England for the movie, but it wasn't like, again, because he sold all the rights to the music to Universal. He's not like he gave some input, but he's not actually like the screenwriter.
And they're not like obligated to.
Yeah, it's more just like including him, which is nice. But well, the reason I think he first sold the rights is he thought he sold it in the late 90s because he was told that there was going to be a TV series based on Wicked. So this is even before the musical. Yeah, and he's still kind of waiting for like a TV series, which I would like
could see that.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should jump into it, right? Munchkinlander or the prologue. I just love the prologue.
Oh my
I don't
God,
know what
this
it is,
prologue.
but like the scapegoating of her, and I guess that makes its way into the musical a lot. Like in act or not, the March of the. I always want to say the March of the
Like, and
Winkies.
thank goodness you
not it.
open up with
Even the
those
opening of Act 2.
Emerald City people like
Yeah,
making these
and they're like,
assumptions of her. And like,
yeah, like that. But like here in the prologue, the Tin Man's like, oh, she's castrated, and then I think one of them,
They
the
think that she's
Scarecrow's like,
a
you're
trans.
yeah, and then the Scarecrow's like, you're obsessed with this, and then they're like, I think she was a hermaphrodite or she's a lesbian. It's just like trying to like put her into some kind of putting her down in some way. And I think, why do you think the prologue, like we start with the actual Wizard of Oz characters like walking on the yellow brick road.
And I think that's
And
what icons, like what we know the Wizard of Oz to be of. And if you don't have those characters in the forefront, then no one's going to understand what the heck this book is going to be about.
Right.
But what I love about this prologue is the imagery that we have of Elphaba in the background of this whole conversation. She's just there, gripping the side of a tree, I believe, just listening in and just gazing. But she's never, the one thing that we see is that she never sees Dorothy's face. It's just like her torso and the shoes, those blood red shoes. Not blood red, but it's, silver with blood, like little inklets of ruby, which I think that I love that they did that for the film version. You see,
and it even puts me in mind of, I think there's a shot in the Wizard of Oz movie where you see her, she's like peeking out from behind a tree.
Oh yes,
that's before they meet the Tin Man.
Yeah. Okay, so that's like where Gregory found the scene.
Do you ever think to yourself, wait, how does Andrew know about so many of the newest and current LGBTQ books? Well, my friends at the Gay and Lesbian Review have an amazing magazine. The Gay and Lesbian Review is a bi-monthly magazine, and it's always centered around a theme. So, for example, their November and December issue is called the Gossip Issue. And it features some authors who actually have been on the Ivory Tower Boiler Room, like Ignacio Darnad, who runs the Breaking the Gay Code in R Instagram account. And I love that he's looking at Lorca and Dali in his newest article for the Gay and Lesbian Review. There's articles about D.H. Lawrence, about sodomy in the 1770s. Frank Rizzo, who is a theater critic, has an article, and I actually just recorded an episode with him. I can't wait for you all to hear it. We talk and gush about queer theater from the 1970s until the current day. The Gay and Lesbian Review has given me a promo code that I want you all to use. Go to glreview.org, glreview.org, type in promo code ITBR50 when you subscribe, and you will get 50% off your digital or print edition. I get the print edition because I just love to have a physical copy of the magazine. And the Gossip Issue, it's so exciting. My favorite Victorian author, Oscar Wilde, is featured on the cover holding a sunflower. So if you want the newest LGBTQ literature, film, TV, theater recommendations, you need the Gay and Lesbian Review. I hope you enjoy your reading, and please let me know if you are reading the Gay and Lesbian Review, what article you really liked, because I'll shout you out, and I'll even let the editors know, because I know they always want to know what the Ivory Tower Boiler Room audience is reading when they do get a Gay and Lesbian Review subscription. Okay, enjoy your reading. So have you heard me talk and gush about my friend Christian Garcia's podcast, That Old Gay Classic Cinema? If you are like me and you remember when you went to Hollywood, MGM Studios, whatever it was called, when we went to the Great Movie Ride, I remember the Great Movie Ride so vividly when the Wicked Witch of the West appeared in Munchkinland. And it was such a nostalgic trip. And as a child, that's how I got to learn so much about classic cinema. And I started to grow a fascination and admiration for it. Well, Christian's podcast is not only for classic cinema lovers, but for all film lovers. He looks at different films and sees their queer elements. So, for example, he did an Alfred Hitchcock Vertigo episode that I had the pleasure of being on. He's done Rebecca by Alfred Hitchcock. He did a Wizard of Oz episode. He did a Dracula episode, The Sound of Music. There's so many episodes that he's covered. And it's so nice because you can listen on Apple, Spotify. He has a YouTube channel. So be sure to follow his podcast and please give him a 5-star rating because trust me, you're going to want to binge listen to all of the episodes.
Yeah, no, thanks, Nicole. You're right. Yeah, she's in the woods, like as they're in the yellow brick road, and she never
she's
says
following
anything.
them.
She's following. Yeah. Which, like, if she actually was evil and wanted to do harm, like she could have done harm to these people throughout the whole time.
Right.
But instead, she just wants the shoes. But I do think it's interesting that Dorothy's very compassionate about Nessa Rose. Like she must be grieving her sister. And Yeah, I don't know. I have this like soft spot for Nessa Rose because I know in the movie, well, allegedly, Gregory told me that Nessa Rose is going to have a bigger part in the movie,
Oh, thank goodness.
which is why they're splitting it into two, is because they're going to do a
Get her
whole
song.
Munchkin Land.
Soundtrack.
Yeah, like they want to have a whole Munchkin Land section where she's like the mayor and um like actually seeing what happens like when the house falls on her. Like we don't get any of
But I
that.
got the visuals. Oh, that would
Oh,
be
that's
Yeah.
so exciting.
I'm
It's
already
right. I mean,
fangirling.
Nicole like knows every scene of the musical, like Christian, but you only, I mean, we do get that moment where Nessa Rose is walking with her wheelchair after she's able to walk and like he knows something bad is about to happen to her.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like her death march,
Hmm.
I guess. But I think we're gonna actually see the whole Bach, like everything playing out in the
That's
movie, or
awesome.
I hope so.
Oh my God.
I hope
'Cause-
so
Yeah,
too.
but I have a in
Yeah.
the book, they say Nessa Rose doesn't have any arms.
yeah,
So that's a huge difference versus the musical.
yeah. Well, I think
And
it's
I think that,
because no, go Nicole.
I was just
Yeah,
gonna say, I feel like it would be really difficult to play that on stage.
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
That would be
I'm glad they didn't. I'm just
difficult.
saying it was because when I'm
Yeah.
reading, I thought, what? That's
Mhm. Well, and it's like those kinds of things they like small adaptations they have to change for like the stage.
she got the red shoes from her father, wasn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. And we do get that in the musical.
Mhm.
So okay, what I don't know, what's like something at the beginning, right? We go from the prologue to Munchkinlanders, and like we're thrown into um Alphaba's father, the mother. There's like a lot of layers. I mean,
Mhm.
we only barely get that in the beginning of the musical. It's all like do 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 go 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 go. She delivers a baby, and
And then she
then
goes right to Ches.
yeah, but
Yeah.
like we do have those characters
Yeah.
in the musical. They're just like not really like the one who delivers her is actually a big character in the novel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So wait, what do you think about the time dragon? I mean, let's start with the time dragon because I feel like it's like a propaganda tool, right?
Yeah, because it goes around all over the place, like putting on its little show,
Mm-hmm.
and then it like stirs people up.
Mhm.
Yeah, like a cult.
And they do I mean they kept that in the musical in the sense of the giant metal dragon that's hanging over the stage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
But
Yeah.
that's kind of the only reference left to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, so okay, maybe I feel like if we have to deal with Munchkinland, we have to deal with what I think is so wonderful in the novel, but I think can also, if you see the musical first and you don't read the novel, you're like, wow, like my mom said, we're being given an introduction to philosophy. Like it really is full of philosophies, like hedonism, Socratic method, um, like Aristotle dialogue. Like it's very full of government politics. Like there's a lot going on. Um, and it's very adult oriented, which is why I think Gregory can't believe that like myself or others who are children read the novel because it's graphic, it's explicit, there's sexuality everywhere, there's bestiality. Like it's like, whoa, what's happening? But is that something that surprised you all? Like how deep this novel is? Like maybe even the politics. Like, do you think it like works? I'll say that. Like, does it work, all the politics?
It does.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean that's really kind of Elphaba's entire motivation, really,
Mm,
is the whole political situation. If you didn't have all of that built up, you would have no reason for her to, first of all, want to meet the wizard, hoping he can help,
mm,
and then once she realizes he's not going to help, for her to run off and, in the case of the novel, join the resistance, or in the case of the musical, do whatever she can on her own.
Yeah. Well, and that's something, right? Nicole is in the novel. She's part of a bigger unit. Like, she's part of a movement.
Yes.
In the musical, it's like she's on her own island.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what do you think works? Do you think one is better than the other, or like both are? It just is different because of like how they have to translate Alphaba to the stage.
I mean, I do like her being part of a larger movement, and really, she's not even like the leader of the movement. Like, as she says herself, she says, "I'm just a cog in the machine." So I mean, I like the idea that there are other people out there besides her who oppose the wizard and what he's trying to do. But yeah, I think since they, in the changes that they were making to bring it to the stage, I understand why they kind of just left her on her own in that version of things. But I do like that the novel gives her sort of a more concrete network that she could, work with to combat the wizard.
Yeah. Wait, what is the section where she goes and actually spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Kills Madame Morble. Which
that's
like,
toward the end.
Doesn't.
That's the
Yeah.
Oh no, she's going to kill.
First time she doesn't, but then she although
she does
even the second time she does, because someone else got there first.
That's right. Someone already has assassinated Madame Morble.
Yep.
But she's like trying to plan it all out. But there's a lot of darkness in the novel. I mean, there's a lot of darkness in the musical, but I think there's a lot of actual war. Like, this is destruction and things falling apart and a dictatorship, right? Like, she's fighting a dictatorship.
Yeah.
So like, my question even is, does this novel resonate differently, you feel, now than when it came out in the 90s? Like, does this novel feel more timely now because of chaos in America? Or do you feel like it's always going to resonate just because of its politics? Like, did it make you optimistic reading it, or did you feel full of despair?
I would not say there's a whole lot of reason to be optimistic.
This episode is brought to you by AWS. Amazon Q Business is the new generative AI assistant from AWS. Many tasks can make business slow, like wading through mud. Help! Luckily, there's a faster, easier, less messy choice. Amazon Q can securely understand your business data to help you streamline tasks, like summarizing quarterly results or doing complex analyses in no time. Q got this. Learn what Amazon Q Business can do for you at aws.com/learn more.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. There's nothing sweeter than baking cookies during the holidays. With Prime, I get all my ingredients delivered right to my door, fast and free, no last-minute store trips needed. And of course, I blast my favorite holiday playlist on Amazon Music. It's the ultimate soundtrack for creating unforgettable memories. From streaming to shopping, it's on Prime. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to get more out of whatever you're into.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, is there one character you really just despised?
Grommatic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Explain, Christian.
No, it's just, I think that's our very first, if anyone has seen Return to Oz, I think that's our very first incarnation of a TikTok figure. And he's just very manipulative and very sneaky, very like, even though we know that he's the cause of Dr. Dillerman's death or what have you, Elphaba knows that he was the reason behind it, that Madame Morble kind of concocted him or just like maneuvered him to do that sort of obituary thing. And I don't know, he just seemed like very like he's always there in the background, just staring with you don't even know what eyes he's staring at because it's like it's very it's a machine. So it's like a freaking robot. Basically, it is a robot, and we're not even sure what to think of it. Because we don't know if it has a mind of its own or it's just programmed to think as human or as humans or as citizens of Oz do. So it's very suspicious and very. I feel like even though it doesn't have a mind of its own, Gramatik has his own machinations of what he thinks the world is according to him.
Well, you're right. There's a lot of like the police state surveillance system, like using technology for ill purposes, like, which I feel like is a lot of topics right now about social media or about drones. Like, what are we going to do with AI?
Oh my God.
Like things could really help us, but it also could be used against the people. So, again, I feel like there's a lot, like what I appreciate about this is, you know, it's not L. Frank Baum. Like L. Frank Baum does not have this much, many layers to his writing. Yeah. He's not writing an allegory. Like this is an allegory and like represents something bigger than what it is.
True.
And like I love that Gregory Maguire starts with the L. Frank Baum quote, like that the wizard says, and for me to grant you your wish, you have to destroy the witch. And it's like, why is the wizard sending this girl on like an assassination mission? Like what's happening? Something's very off. But yeah, Return to Oz. Have you all seen Return to Oz?
That was creepy. I remember that.
Oh my God. Oh, Angela, you gotta watch it.
We rented
I don't know if I ever have seen it either.
Oh, you have to see it. Yeah.
God, we should do a movie night of that film then. Shoot.
But I've heard it's like horrifying though.
Yeah, it's like Dorothy is in a mental institution in Kansas.
Yep,
because
she returned to a dramatic Oz when like the Gnome King took power, and it's very much it takes a lot of elements from both the second and third book of L. Frank Baum's world, and the director Walter Murch immersed us in the finale scene with a lot of Oz characters that we know and love.
But
he just wanted to bring wanted to make Return to Oz a love letter to L. Frank Baum's work.
Yeah, it's so well done though, of like Oz in chaos, and there's that woman who like takes her heads off and she has all these princesses' heads.
Princess Langwidere.
Yeah, she is.
I never knew that that was all of Jean Marsh's voices with each head. I didn't realize that until I was on a podcast. I was on Family Over Broad podcast, and they discussed that Jean March was each voice of each head.
I didn't know she's every head.
What? I never knew that.
No, type it on YouTube. Return to Oz.
It's on Disney Plus. There you go. If anyone has Disney Plus, it is on there. So.
Oh, okay. Because I did ask Gregory, I'm like, did you like have any inspiration from Return to Oz? Because I feel like there is a lot of that, like destruction and chaos and just trying to repair everything. But yeah, okay. So any other character that, like how about Glinda? We haven't even talked about her. From the countryside of Gillikin. Like, do you feel that she's an important character? Do you feel like she's really does have redeeming qualities? Like, what kind of character is Glinda even in the novel?
I feel like she's not as ditzy in the book as she is in the musical.
Yeah.
Does anyone else feel that? Or am I the only one?
Yeah.
I feel like she's not.
Yes.
Like, I feel like they made her very ditzy for the musical, but I don't really see that in the book too much with her.
But then the opposite side of that coin is then in the musical, she has an opportunity for a much fuller and more satisfying character arc of, growing up and developing into a more thoughtful and, considerate
That's true.
than she started as.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I seem like I'm the dumb blonde stereotype, but actually I'm like Marilyn Monroe, that I have intellect. And now you're going to find in my, like, now you're going to see that you were wrong about the stereotype.
Love that.
Yeah.
Very true.
And I always say that's why I feel like Kristen Chenoweth should have won the Tony. I'll always go back to that because I feel like Glinda has the more drastic character arc in the musical, where Alphaba's she's always on a 10. Glinda's on like a roller coaster.
Yes.
And I do feel like the actress who we just saw, who was it again? Alexandra
Soka.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt like she really did a good job at going up and down with her voice, even. Like, it was like, to Nicole at first with No One Mourns the Wicked, I'm like, wait, is she going to be able to handle this? Because I was like, I didn't feel a lot of the power right away, but then I realized, wait, she's grieving. Like, the beginning of the musical is when she literally just found out that her friend died.
Well, she was there in the background. She witnessed this happening, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like she did a really good, faithful adaptation to like how she would have been processing everything. I don't know. I find Glinda more compelling in the musical, personally.
Yes.
I like,
because I feel like in the novel she's not really supposed to be a counterpart to Alphaba. Like, it's not really a sisterhood.
No, not at all.
I think that was a really wise choice that they made in adapting it for the stage, was to put the focus on the friendship between the two of them.
Are you currently looking for your next great read and you just don't know where to search? Well, I have a publisher for you. They are called Broadview Press. They're celebrating their 40-year anniversary. Happy anniversary, Broadview. And they are an independent publisher of humanities books. So next month, for Native American Heritage Month, I have on Dr. Andrea Sullivan Clark, and she is going to educate us on indigenous philosophies of Turtle Island. You might wonder what Turtle Island is. And if you're listening and you are in North America, I'm just going to give you a hint. You probably are in Turtle Island territory. So I can't wait for you all to hear more about Native American history and culture, just subjects that we need to learn about and we just don't in our primary school education. So Ways of Being in the World is Andrea's book. I can't wait for more of you to get your hands on it. Also, just in time for the Wicked film, Broadview Press has an edition of The Wonderful Wizard of Oz with the original illustrations. I was talking with Dylan from Broadview Press, and I always love talking with her because she informs me of what new books they're about to release. And guess what? Just in time for spooky season in the fall, they have a vampire literature anthology that collects so many different short stories that explore the vampire myth and just how this origin story of the vampire came to be in our culture. So I hope you get your hands on those books. And Dylan told me there is an exclusive code for all ITBR listeners. You get 20% off all of your Broadview Press orders. Broadviewpress.com. Go choose your books. Type in Ivory Tower in the discount code section and you will get 20% off. Make sure you follow Broadview Press to see all the new books that they are about to publish on Instagram at Broadview Press. Enjoy your reading, everyone.
Which we don't see in musicals a lot. Two female leads.
Nope.
Which is why they should have just nominated both of them together and given them the award.
Yeah.
Whatever.
There have been ties before for
I
best
know.
musical actress. They should have just made them have a tie.
I know. Sometimes, especially if they're in the same musical, it just, like, I don't know why they don't do that. But whatever. Not our battle. We don't have time for that.
I'm surprised about Piero, how he was introduced in the book. very
Yeah,
different versus on stage, because then Elphaba and he form a friendship.
Mhm.
And don't they, they're kind of like lovers in a way, weren't they? Yeah.
They
In
are.
the book,
Yeah,
yes.
where in the stage it was not, that wasn't seen. It was more focus of Glinda yearning for Fiyero.
Mm.
Yeah, and you also in the book don't have the Elphaba, Fiyero, Glinda love triangle either.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
in the book, he's never with Glinda first.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah. You're right. It's kind of like the soap opera in the musical. Like that's more the cattiness of
Yeah.
like the Real Housewives. Like they're the Real Housewives. But I guess again that makes sense, right? Because it's a different medium and you need that quickly to like escalate. But I do love the Vinkus. Like I love the castle scenes. I like the whole backstory. Of what is his castle? Kiamiko? Is that how you
Kiamoko.
pronounce it?
Yamoko, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I thought I really like what Fiero's family gets, how they get to play a part with Alphaba. And I feel like Act Two of the musical, my critique has always been that like the romance between Alphaba and Fiero comes out of nowhere of like the intensity that like
But
I
I
feel like
think-
we kind of need
I think-
it. The
I think the
layers.
point is supposed to be, though, that it's been brewing, at least in both of their minds, since the lion cub scene.
Yeah, true.
And they've just, neither of them until that moment in Act Two when they run into each other again have decided to act on it.
Yeah. I feel like in the musical, though, we don't really understand how she's in charge of the Winkies or like any of that. Like how she's like become the protector of the castle.
Right.
Like what we really know in The Wizard of Oz. Like how does she even end up in the castle? But I mean, there's like that passing line where he's like, well, my family has a castle in like the Port Kiamiko and you should go escape there. And she's like, okay, sounds good.
But we've never lived there. Oh, where do you live? The other castle. Oh.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, there
I
are
thought that was
moments.
funny.
There are moments in the musical that, like, I know critics were like, Act Two was underdeveloped. They said, which I would agree. Act Two is a little more sped up. Like, it could use some. It could have used a little polishing. But again, the musical is a blockbuster, so like, it's standing the test. There's always going to be something. But I hope they do a lot with the Vinkus. Like, I really hope they're doing more in the movie with Fiero. So I don't know. Do you think there's going to be more of that focus with her in Kiamiko?
Could be. Do you think they're taking more parts from the book and putting it into the musical to make it more like?
I feel
like they would have to make two full movies out of it.
Yeah.
And I feel like
That
they have
would
to
be really
add more
interesting.
songs. Like,
I'm okay with that.
yeah. I mean, well, I feel like they wouldn't have invited. Okay, my hypothesis is why would you invite the novel writer Gregory Maguire if he already had consulted on the musical adaptation? Why would you then invite him all the way to England and ask him to like see the scenes? Unless you're actually adding more of his novel.
I feel like they have to be adding parts from the book to the movie musical.
Yeah. And I think they also want
which
to
I'm
get
really
like stamp
excited
of
for.
approval in some ways to like let them know that they're on the right path. Then meaning John Chu, which I don't doubt he will. He's going to create something that will be amazing. So
yeah, I mean, do you think that Madame Morrible is going to die?
Oh, I hope so.
It'll be a satisfying scene for sure.
I would enjoy that.
Yeah.
I mean, Michelle Yeoh could definitely play up.
Oh, yeah.
The like, he's going to be frightening. I mean, I have a feeling. But well, I'm just trying to think. Do we know what it's rated, the movie? Because that to me is a question.
I don't think it hasn't been rated yet.
Yeah, I don't think
they haven't released that information.
Yeah.
Because how would you rate the? Yeah. No, sorry.
I feel like it's okay. I feel like it's gonna be at least PG-13. I don't think it's going to be I don't think it's going to be like a family friendly movie. I think it's going to be more similar to the book, so it's going to have a higher. I don't think it would be rated R. I feel like it's going to be rated PG-13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine
See, if
if
it was
was
rated R, like if it was
Yeah.
rated R, I'd be like, oh, they're doing like all the dark things in the novel. Like,
Yeah,
it's gonna
but I don't
be.
think they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to do that because even like people, I feel like parents would take their like
Yeah.
9-year-old to see a PG-13 movie, but not to see an R-rated movie.
Yeah. No.
And people are going to be going to see this going, oh, it's the musical.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's
that's
gonna have
really
to be
interesting because I
Yeah.
feel like Wicked is like that show that everybody loves, not just theater kids. So I feel like a lot of people are going to go see it, wanting to see the musical, and then like not having a clue what's going on at certain points.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I have a
I'm
feeling
glad I read the book.
Yeah, but I have a feeling they're not going to make it like they can't make it exactly the same as the musical because then, like I know that they were holding the movie because they were so nervous that it would take away traffic in the theater. So like I know they're not going to do a 1-to-1 ratio because like why then make the movie?
Yeah, that's why usually they wait till the Broadway show is off to make a movie. You know, I think Mamma Mia and Phantom of the Opera and Chicago were the only exceptions.
No, you're right. And even Chicago did a lot of changes, which was like they actually added all the scenery and like you know, Phantom too, in a way. But I think Wicked has big shoes to fill as a movie. And I don't want to be anyone in that production team because people are already critiquing the trailer. So
I'm not even going to get on my soapbox about that.
yeah, Nicole has this great analysis of the trailer, so you can go to her social media.
I have many strong negative feelings about the whole Wicked movie.
Oh no!
Yeah. I will say my only thing is I do feel like they're relying too much on CGI, and it doesn't feel the scenery doesn't feel real, and that worries me because it looks a lot like Harry Potter at Hogwarts, and I'm like, sometimes less is more. Like actual locations are better. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We're optimistic, right? No, don't worry. We're all going to do like we'll all watch the movie and then come back and check in and be like, okay, debrief. What happened?
Yeah.
I mean, Mean Girls was an interesting musical adaptation for the screen.
Yeah. I didn't see that.
Yeah. I still don't know how I feel.
I never got into Mean Girls, the musical. I love the movie, and I'm just like, I'll keep it at that.
I know.
I mean, for what the film of the Broadway show was, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say it was like an absolutely fantastic, stellar, you know, adaptation, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, I just have to say, I feel like films always have a hard time when they're an adaptation. Not only is Mean Girls an adaptation of a musical, it's an adaptation of a nostalgic film. So it's like now you're adapting a blockbuster movie, and then now trying to adapt a musical and trying to please those of us who remember the original. So yeah, right there, Nicole. I feel like they did a good job for the new generation.
Yeah.
But I'm always gonna look back at the original and be like, but it's not as iconic as Lindsay Lohan. It's not as iconic as the Plastics. Like but again, do they do a lot of movie adaptations? I mean, they just did Roadhouse, but like, isn't it rare that they actually
well, they did Legally Blonde
for musicals
the movie first, then the musical.
But do they do a lot of like movie adaptations of blockbuster films?
I mean, they just opened The Notebook. They just opened Water for Elephants.
That's true. But I'm saying, like, do you think that they're then going to do The Notebook as a movie musical?
So you're saying?
I'm saying, do they do like? How many times has there been a musical, a movie musical.
to musical back.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's confusing. It's
think-
like a factory.
Yeah,
You're
I
like,
didn't know
what?
what you were asking. Honestly, I was.
Yeah, so like, has
Not
there
a
been
lot.
a movie that's a musical that then they made a movie musical out of?
I guess you could say Newsies, because it was a movie first, then they turned it into
That's
a
true.
musical, and then they filmed a performance of the musical.
Yep.
Oh,
That's true. Yeah.
I don't know if you can
And
really
they did it
call
with
that turning
Shrek
it
too.
into a
They did
movie.
that with Shrek too.
Oh, Shrek.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yep.
But I don't know if they've ever had like a blockbuster movie like Mean Girls, like then brought as a movie musical after the stage. I don't know. I'll have to.
I don't think so.
The Lion King. The Lion King's gone through a lot, but
Oh, yeah.
and I didn't see the new
Wiz
Lion
too.
King. Oh, The
That
Wiz.
has many different adaptations.
That's true. The Sound of
Little
Music was a
Mermaid.
live
And the music,
musical.
yup, that has
Yeah.
many.
Yeah, Dirty Dancing was a failed TV film or whatever they did to Dirty Dancing.
I don't remember that.
Sometimes they just, my feeling though is sometimes they should not redo classic iconic films.
Agreed.
No.
Especially Dirty Dancing. Like,
Come on.
Like
Yeah.
if someone came out and said, "I'm going to try and remake The Wizard of Oz," I would be like,
They're actually, I believe they're in production of that. If I'm not mistaken, some director has taken it into
oh no.
her hands. I think,
Oh gosh.
yeah.
I don't know if I like that.
yeah.
Oh, West Side Story was a movie
Oh,
musical
that was
that was
good.
on
Oh my God.
no,
Yep.
Broadway
Sorry.
movie
We forgot
musical
about that.
and then a new one.
Yeah.
No, I really
Spielberg
liked
directed
the
the film.
I thought that was really good. The
That
new
was
movie
good.
I liked
musical.
the new one.
I liked it
Yeah.
too. That's
Yeah.
my favorite musical of all time.
Yeah,
So
I thought that
enjoyed
actually
it.
was excellent. Okay, so
Can't wait for Snow White.
so yeah. Oh, that's right. They're doing the live Snow White. Anyway, Disney could continue to get royalties.
Right.
Keep going, Disney. No. That's my own feeling, but whatever. So
Oh, Andrew, I wanted to go back to something you said a minute ago, going back to the novel about Fiero's family. I find it very interesting. Like in the novel, he is married, so she is having an affair with a married man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whereas in the musical, he was Linda's boyfriend, but they weren't, like married.
They weren't Facebook official.
So Alphaba kind of seems, you're saying, Nicole, she's more moral in the musical, where in the novel she's more human. Like she's she's a sinner. Like she's stepping in it like everyone else.
I just find it interesting that he chose to go there in the novel. Like he didn't have to have made Fiero married, but he chose to do that. I just find that a very interesting choice, since we're talking about like all of the layers and the moral complexities that he wove into novel. I just find it interesting that was one layer that he chose to include.
Yeah. Do you feel like that makes her more human-like, because and Fiero, that she's not really a magical witch. Like she is, but she's also a fallible human being. Like she would have an affair.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely feel like that makes her a more well-developed character.
I wonder if she'll be cheating on, if Fiero's going to be married to Glinda in the movie. I don't know.
Who's playing
There was a spot in the trailer where it looked like she's
in her mind. I think that's like from, what is that song? The Reprise, I'm Not That Girl. Maybe that's something that she sings in her mind, and that's what she thinks about.
Yeah, I was also wondering if that was like an actual thing that happened, or if that was just like a fantasy.
It's very fantasy.
But Mom.
Who's playing Fiero in the movie?
Jonathan Bailey.
Oh, Jonathan, yep.
From Bridgerton.
Yep.
And Fellow Travelers now. Yeah.
Which I think is going to be really good, because I found a clip of him on YouTube. I think it was like his video that he sent in auditioning for the last 5 years.
Yes. Oh, he's so good. Oh, he has a great voice. I'm more concerned about Ariana Grande, but that's
yes.
And not only because she's not talking about Quiet on the Set because she took hush money, allegedly. But oh, Ariana. I mean, I can't question it. Who knows what you would do in scenarios when you're given $300,000? I mean, who knows? All I know is I'm just worried because I feel like Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande are so far apart in age. It just
Yeah, that was something I was thinking about too.
feels weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, why not hire another Broadway veteran with Cynthia Erivo?
Yeah, you don't need like a big name for Wicked. Like you could have
No.
hired like Ali Mazzi or somebody, or you know,
Or a past
Carolyn
Glinda that already
Yeah.
was on board. Maybe they could have
yeah,
been
Ali
Megan
Mazzi or
Hilty. I'm
Carol
just
Lindsay
saying.
would have loved to see
They
one
could
of
have
them.
hired Megan.
Megan Hilty.
Megan
Megan
Hilty.
Hilty.
She could have done even more justice.
And it would have made sense if they did Megan Hilty because she's coming out with the Death Becomes Her musical. And then now they have Smash coming to Broadway. So, like, why not get her in the name in the press again?
Yep.
Because they want young people to go see Wicked, the movie.
Yeah,
That's
well,
why
and I'm
they
sure
Ariana Grande.
I know, and I'm
Also,
sure Ariana.
I think Kristen herself probably made Ariana happen because I don't understand why, but she's like obsessed with Ariana Grande.
She's actually is coaching Ariana singing wise.
Okay. See, Christian knows the scoop.
Because of the movie or before
with the movie herself, but she actually met Ariana met Kristen like on Broadway when she did Wicked. So she was very taken with her. So she took
is that when Ariana Grande was in 13 the musical?
I think so.
Probably.
I wouldn't.
No, I like Ariana Grande as a singer. It's not that. I just feel, and she's a good actress. I just think, all questionable things aside, with whatever's going on Nickelodeon, because that's its own thing. I just feel like if you're going to choose Cynthia Erivo and Jonathan Bailey, who are around the same age, then why did you go with Ariana Grande? That's just what feels weird. It's you either have to go in one direction or the other.
And I don't feel like Ariana is going to be able to stand up to either of the two of them. Like,
you think she's going to get outshined?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just feel like with the layers that Glinda has to do of the evolution of the character, I have no problem with. I think Ariana Grande's Popular is going to be incredible. That's not what I think. I'm just curious what her thank goodness is going to be like.
And no one mourns the Wicked. That one I'm.
I don't know if you guys know, but there are we have her little snippets of that. Think drones have where I'm circling around that little area.
Oh yeah.
They got audio of them who were singing, and it was immaculate.
Yeah.
In my opinion, at least.
Yeah. Well, no, I think her singing's good, Christian. I'm worried about the acting layers.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we will all see.
We will all see. We will all get our tickets, and we'll see it all together.
There we go. I like that.
Do you know
I like
who
that.
Bach?
We'll do a group event. We'll do one.
Bach is
Bach.
Even Slater,
It's her
right?
past ex-boyfriend, right?
Yeah, I said
Ariana.
who is playing?
Yeah, wasn't she dating Bach? I thought.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's his name?
I think they're still together.
They're still together. Sorry, never mind.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not I don't know. That's the last I heard. But
No, you're right.
Married,
Maybe they're together.
had a baby, and then apparently Ariana there was drama with that. Apparently he was still married. I don't know.
See? Affairs. Maybe that's part of the storyline in the movie.
Maybe.
Glinda gets together with Bach when he's married. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wait, what is? Oh, but he was SpongeBob in the SpongeBob musical.
He was. Yeah, that's what he's known for.
No, he's good.
And now he's in Camelot.
No, Ethan Slater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ethan Slater.
Good.
Slater.
I like his acting and singing. But I forget who Nessa Rose is. I don't know.
I think that's unknown for that.
It's Marissa Bode, Bode.
And I think she might be. Is she? I'm trying to like think of how to phrase it. Um, like she's
Wheelchair
an
bound?
actress who's
Yeah, she
wheelchair
is, I
bound.
In a
believe.
wheel.
Okay.
Yep,
Okay. Yeah,
Is
yeah,
she
yeah.
wheelchair bound? Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
believe
I love that
so.
they did that.
And see, I think that that's really respectful. Like that makes
Yeah.
sense to me. Like I like to see that for Nessa Rose, and I just hope she gets a lot more songs, and
Yeah.
I hope she gets to sing with Bach, or like at least more with Alphaba. I think they
Oh
could
my
have a
God.
song together.
Jeff
Um,
Goldblum is is the Wizard. I didn't know that.
Oh my God, Jeff Goldblum. Huh. Cannot wait. He's in it. I love
oh
him.
really? I'm like, I'm like the skeptical one. I'm like, I don't know.
He seems like his character from Thor when he did that whole like weird like character from Thor. Was it Ragnarok? Or was the one with Kate Blanchett?
Oh, okay. Oh, but okay, so final talking like question for you all is just of course I have to do the obvious, which is um the novel has an ending that clearly differs from the musical
Mhm.
in the murder and its afterlife. Um what do you think about what happens to our adorable Alphaba?
Eh,
Like, were you sad that she actually passes away?
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in places that could expose you to identity theft. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, their US-based restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
I'm James McComb, reporting live from home in my bathrobe and slippers. Tonight, we're talking Dunkin' Polar Peppermint Coffee. Gene's here with the latest. Gene, do you copy?
The home with Dunkin' is where you want to be.
I mean, with the way that the rest of the novel is, I feel like that's kind of the ending it needed. Like, I don't think, like, with the way the musical ends, that she didn't really melt. You know, that works for the musical, and I personally, I prefer that ending because I like happy endings. But for the novel, like, with the dark tone of the rest of the novel, I don't feel like it would have worked to have her secretly survive.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree. It makes sense for her.
I feel like her actually dying is the right ending for the novel with the way that the rest of it went.
Mhm. Yeah, it makes more sense.
Yeah. So like, especially if this is like Angela, my mom, your first time reading, you know, I should ask, what do you think worked and what do you think didn't work? Like, not didn't work, but like, what did you enjoy? And I'll go around with everyone, but what did you enjoy and what did you dislike?
Well, I liked the more depth and the more background. Like you see her as a child and you see her mother not really, and like her, be fond of her, and her father, obviously. And it like shows a lot as to why she is the way she is. But also, she takes a stand for what she believes in, which I really like.
Was there anything like you could have done without?
I was I'll be honest, I was kind of lost, like after Fiero died and she went to, what's it called? Kamiko?
Kamiko.
Yeah. I was kind of lost throughout that whole thing. So I didn't know who anybody was, and there was a lot of names and I was getting confused. That probably could have been condensed a little bit for me.
Yeah. My mom.
It's hard to keep track of who's who. That was I felt like there were certain storylines that, I mean, I don't have an example, but I felt like it was too lengthy. I hate to say that for Gregory Maguire, but there were certain things that he went into too much depth that could have been maybe glazed over.
Mm.
So then do you think the musical did a good job of like condensing it and
Yes.
picking up the most important
Yes.
threads?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. What I feel like, what are other, like a lot of fantasy novels have like those character genealogy charts. Like I just remember some novels you'll
No,
open them and it'll be like
that would have
this
been good.
person's married to that person, who then dated this person, and
I
like
would have liked that.
it's kind of
Yeah.
like Russian literature, which is something I don't read
Yeah.
a lot, but I just remember with Tolstoy, I'm like, wait, who is this person?
Yeah.
I should
Or
show you
read.
my T-shirt that I have from Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812. They have like a whole character map on it of like this
So,
person
yeah.
is this person's cousin, and this person is dating that person, and that person wants that person.
And it's also in the first song of Great
Yeah.
Comet.
Yes.
Yes, that's such a good opening.
Yes.
Such a good musical.
But that is something in Wicked we don't get an ancestry chart. I was just looking for it.
That would be.
Maybe we could do with an ancestry chart.
That would
We
have
get
helped.
it in Out of Oz, the
I was
last.
gonna say, do we get one in one of the later books?
We do.
Okay.
I think so. I think it is an Out of Oz. Like it's before, like Gregory does like a whole like family tree line before the story starts, and he does like a little recap of what happens, and he does like a little character analysis. Well, not. I think, yeah, just like a little.
Which one is that, Christian?
It's in the last novel, Out of Oz,
Okay.
the 4-part series that he does. I'm actually going
So
to read
maybe
it now as I finish this one.
so maybe he heard a lot of feedback, just like
Maybe.
Mom, saying like, "Hey, we could use genealogy," and maybe they weren't able to add it to Wicked because, you know, you can only have so many print editions of your book.
Yeah.
But it has been sold more than 1 million copies in print, which is pretty incredible. Okay, well, Nicole, you've read the book a lot, so you know, what is the highlight for you, and like what's something that you could do without?
Let's see. I do like the first section of Elphaba's childhood, where you see a lot more of like how her parents treat her, and you know how she sort of ended up becoming the person that we see throughout the rest of the novel. I liked getting a lot of that background. And also more of her with Nessa Rose. I do hope we get more of that in the movies. And as far as what I could do without, I think I would agree that the section after Fiero's death, when she goes to Kiamoko, was kind of stretched. Like I didn't really think all of that needed to be there.
Yeah.
And also, I like in the novel, there's more development of like the system of the way that magic works. And also in the novel, none of them are actually magical. Like magic is not like just a skill or a talent that you have. Magic is like a subject that you learn, just like math or reading or science. Because in the beginning, Elphaba has no interest in magic. She's all about like biology and like the animals that can speak versus the animals that can't speak. Like her focus in the novel is not at all on magic until she's at Kiamoko. And then she starts working on it because she's like trying to help the animals there. But I like the idea of magic is not just like an inborn talent and you either have it or you don't, the way it is in the musical. But it's something that, you know, that can and in fact has to be learned.
Yeah. And then Christian,
Oh, boy.
like, dislike.
one of my favorite highlights of it's a little scene, but it has to do with Bach, Averick, and Crope and Tibbet in that club type of scene. That's what I really can't wait to see that visualized, if they do visualize it. I just love that whole darkness aspect of like Bach not knowing where the heck he is and trying to figure out how to get the heck out of there. And it's just a very visualizing scene when I see it in my mind's eye. But I think I agree with everyone where the Vincus chapter was a little bit far stretched and it could have been condensed more. But I did love that whole scene with Princess Nestoria, and how she was introduced in her little character development from what we know of her.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm with you all. I mean, I feel like I'll piggyback Nicole. I feel and Angela that I think it adds a lot to know the actual family dynamics. And I feel like you actually get the whole fully formed characteristics of each person. Especially, I feel like Alphaba and Nessa Rose's relationship, you understand more that like this is a very complex. Like at some moments you really like each character, and then at other moments, like even Alphaba, you think she has like could have done things differently. Like I don't think any character is scot free. I mean, I think some are more on the evil scale, like Madame Morval, but I think even Gregory Maguire said this. He like wanted each character to have flaws, so like no one is free of flaws, but there's clearly like the what is good and what's evil is a sliding scale, but you clearly know who's trying to cause destruction. And yeah, and I feel like he does a good job at really exploring a philosophy of good versus evil, which isn't easy to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, so thank you all for joining. And of course, you know, you're all welcome to come back again for the next book club. In May, which I don't even know what we're gonna read yet. So I'm gonna like I don't know. Ask any of you also for recommendations because I mean, I know like I have some interviews coming. Like I've even done some episodes where the books could be good choices. I just don't know if all of you are up for like those genres. Like I just did an interview with the author of Capote's Women, which is like the Capote versus the Swan series. The Book of Gothel, which Christian got me into that.
Oh, I read that. I enjoyed that.
Did you? Yeah, I interviewed her, so that interview is coming out in a few weeks. And that's like another fairy tale retelling of Rapunzel. There's something else on my shelf. Trying to think. I don't know. I'm just reading Stephen King's The Dark Tower because everyone told me I should read The Dark Tower. I was also thinking maybe should we read Blonde, the Marilyn Monroe novel?
Ooh, I have this 25th anniversary book of that.
'Cause I never actually read it, and we're very into Marilyn Monroe here because of Smash and everything. But I have a feeling that's going to be troubling. Just to let you know, like, I'm like, should we be a little more optimistic here, like with our book choice? I don't know. Like, has there been a book that's on anyone's radar? Like, I'll ask all of you since you're here.
Oh goodness.
I'm trying to think what there was. What else was I? Oh, Killers of the Flower Moon. I was thinking of that because I didn't actually read it.
Didn't that just come out as a series?
Or I think wasn't it a movie?
A movie, right?
It's a movie,
DiCaprio?
but it's based off of a nonfiction book.
Dad listened to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my dad listened to it.
The movie was
long.
No, the movie's long. Yeah.
A lot of characters to keep track of. I heard that's true with Oppenheimer. A lot of
Yeah.
characters. I had to
Yeah.
watch that numerous times.
Oh yeah, I hadn't seen Oppenheimer yet.
Andrew, maybe you could send around a poll.
Yeah, that's what I think I'm gonna do.
Ooh,
Nicole.
yeah, I
That's
think
a good idea. And I'll send it to everyone who's been part of the book club. And I'll send it to like all of your emails, and then I'll send it to the Patreon people and just see. Okay, so I'll do Book of Gothel, Blonde, what did we just say? Killers of the Flower Moon.
How big of a book do you want to read? Like as big as Wicked, or as big as like say a Stephen King novel?
No, I would say like this is probably like our limit.
Okay.
Especially for the audiobook listeners in the audience, which is sometimes me too.
Mhm.
I think anything over 20 hours as an audiobook is.
Yeah. Have you done Red, White, and Royal Blue yet? I know that has come up like on the ban list of books.
No, I didn't do that. I also was thinking Fellow Travelers.
Ooh,
but
I didn't know there was a book. Now I have to do my research.
You know what I'll do? I'll see like which are the two most popular, and then maybe I'll have two books, like one for May and one for June, and then whoever wants to do the May one, we can do that one, and then I'll have the group for June. Just because, like, I know you all are part of book clubs, or like some of you know, like our reading tastes vary. So like, I don't expect everyone to come every month. That's why, like, oh, how about any new celebrity memoirs? People like memoirs here too.
Your dad, Andrew, Dave, just started Venus Williams. He just picked it out of the Libby app, Come to Win.
Okay. And I feel like people were talking about there's always like a new celebrity memoir. That's like
There is. I mean, I'm starting to read Barbara's Behemoth. I haven't finished it yet. Barbara
Streisand. I didn't read
that's over
that
40
yet.
hours, so I don't know if anyone really wants to do that. But
Wait,
it's
40
I
hours?
have the audiobook as well.
There's Britney Spears.
Yeah, we did Britney.
Spears.
Oh, you did already.
They
Okay.
just did. Yeah, they just did.
Yeah, that was a popular one.
What about John Stamos's memoir that he just came out with?
Oh.
I have that one in the audiobook. I'm so petty.
Okay.
It's not even funny. Let me see.
Okay, so does anyone have any other book you want to add to the list?
I'm looking. Right over here.
Yeah, I feel like, you know what I'll do? Instead of like putting too many.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like we don't want to have
it might be too many.
options.
I don't want to like overload.
No, why don't I do Book of Gothel, Blonde, Killers of the Flower Moon, and then I'll have the last one will say write in option, and you could write in a choice. That way I can see if there's anything to add for the future.
That's good.
That's a good option.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
I want the people to vote.
The people.
This is a democracy.
The people have a voice.
Yes. They will have a voice in the book club. Okay, well, thank you all. This was great. I always love just returning to Wicked, and if you haven't seen Return to Oz, it's like
we should
really
have a movie
good.
night of that. That deserves some wine.
So good. It is just, it's hilarious. Not hilarious. I was about to say it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
It's disturbing. But there is optimism, Nicole. So it's not like a horror movie.
No, even though some people say that it was their nightmare fuel back in the 80s when it came out. They claim. I was never scared of it when I watched it.
I think it's kind of like The Witches with Angelica Houston, but like
oh geez, yeah.
Love that. Well, maybe I'll enjoy it then.
Yeah, it goes through all those like dark stages, but then you find the redemption. So it's like, it seems like that's what you like, Nicole. You like when there's redemption and it's not like a Stephen King novel where it just ends in darkness.
Yeah. Everybody just bloody on the floor.
Yeah, like Carrie, which is my favorite, but that's disturbing. Okay, well, thanks.
That's your favorite.
Thank you all. Have a great Sunday. This was so fun.
Thank you for organizing.
Yes,
Of course. I love a good book club.
Hopefully, Andrew does another Broadway show so we can all so I can meet.
We are.
all of you guys.
That's what I wanted to say.
I think we think of doing Great Gatsby, which I'm dying to see.
It seems like the most popular one is The Great Gatsby.
Oh.
And Sunset Boulevard. So I think the way it could work is I'm going to send a poll out to all the Broadway attendees And then I'll send it, of course, on social media to people who want to come. So because it was such a success, Wicked, good job, dress rehearsal group. Because like Wicked was easy because I had already done it as a group. So now I'm like, I get to deal with the same person for all musicals, which is great. She said it'll always be around that price for the same seats in the front mezzanine.
Wow.
So I think we're gonna
amazing.
Yeah. I'm gonna see who wants to do
How did everybody like their seat?
Yeah. Oh, how did you like the seat?
It was good. I liked it.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I did
Okay.
too. I think
Did you
that
feel
was,
like Yeah. Did you feel like it was worth the price? Okay.
I think so.
you know,
I know
I'm a
Broadway,
cheap-
I was
you know I'm a
looking at
cheapskate.
tickets.
Especially for Wicked.
Yeah.
Wicked is
Yeah,
so
it was.
expensive. I think it
Oh,
was.
And that's never
Everything
on.
so
That's never
expensive
on
days.
TKTS, right?
No.
No.
Not usually.
Yeah.
I'm looking at going to see The Wiz because my boyfriend's going with his aunt. And my plan, maybe to take my parents, we'll see. But my plan is to do the rush tickets of like going to different box offices.
Yeah.
That's like my thing is instead of doing TK, like don't do TKTS anymore because like
Why? I like TKTS.
no, because now they upcharge you as if like
They do?
yeah, like
Yeah.
it's basically like you're not gonna walk away from TKTS without $80 tickets. So like
Well, it's
my
the original face value is like 160 or 170.
yeah, so it's like you're getting a discount, but it's how much you used to pay. But no, like my advice, and you can spread it around to your group, but I'm not going to air this, is just like write a list of a few shows, like 4 shows, I would say. And if you're just interested in new shows, go to the box office at 12 o'clock on a weekend. Sunday 12 o'clock. I think Saturday's 10, if I remember. Right? 10. Nicole's done it too. And then just ask for rush tickets.
If it's a popular show, you may need to get there early and get it.
Yeah.
But my
camped
feeling with
out.
The Wiz, I don't know. I feel like The Wiz, I could get it. I feel like if there's a lot of tickets left for that day, you're probably going to be good. But yeah, like if you wanted to see The Outsiders, I think you could get tickets for that. Or what's the one, Lempica or Lempicka?
Yeah.
Lempicka.
Yeah, you probably could get tickets for that. But then a lot of them, you have to look up the box office because now you have to do like a digital rush. And then
Oh yeah, no, that's never.
no. So now I'm only looking at which ones I actually can go to the box office. I'm like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
miss the
but
rush
that's a
days.
great like if you can just pay $45 for but the thing is that they'll sit you wherever. But yeah, I think I'm gonna send around a poll and it looks like I'm gonna ask is August or September better for The Great Gatsby? Like which weekend? And I'll have the weekends. And then it looked like Saturday at 2 is like a good time.
Yes.
So I don't think I'm going to change that.
Except for rainy day.
Well, we can't control.
Can't control the weather.
I know. And then for Sunset Boulevard, that doesn't open until Halloween time anyway for previews. So I think I'm going to do that for November, one of the November weekends. As long as it's not Thanksgiving weekend. Could you imagine we try to go with like the Thanksgiving parade? I've always wanted to do. Nicole, you've done the Thanksgiving parade, right?
I've never gone to the parade. My friend Amy and I usually go the day before and go see the balloons.
That's fun.
Oh wow. Yeah,
And
I
then-
never go to the parade. You'd never catch me at that.
And then there's not enough money in the world to convince me to go to the actual parade.
No,
I'm in
I'd
bed.
rather watch it as I'm flipping through March of the Wooden Soldiers.
That's true.
See, the problem is all of what I'm most interested in for the parade is the Broadway performances.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they do those right in front of the Macy's. So unless you're right there, you're not going to get to see it. So I'd rather
Which I think
watch on TV.
Yeah, and I think you can only get those tickets if you know someone who's part of the team.
Yeah.
Or I did read you could book a hotel room and be on the like
Can I help
street
you?
with the parade. But I saw they charge like $700 a night. I was like, nah, I
Who's
think
gonna
I'm
pay
good.
that? Who's gonna pay that? Not me.
I know there are some things in New York City it's better to see on TV. The parade and Times Square for New Year's.
Oh yes.
Never.
Sure.
I would never be in
No.
Times Square
Not
unless
money in the
No,
world.
I'm at a
don't do the
party
romantic
and they're like,
parades to like bring your loved
yeah.
one. No.
The only thing I heard they do is if like you're in entertainment, they'll reserve a pod for you at Times Square. I'm like, if I had that done for me, that's fine. But like, there's no way I'm wearing a diaper in Times Square.
No.
Yeah, my like cousin's husband who worked at the W in Times Square, like right by Dos Caminos, if you know that area. He would have like people from Europe who would be there for the week of New Year's, and they would ask him that morning of New Year's Eve, "Oh, how can we watch the ball drop?"
Oh,
And he's
geez.
like,
Oh boy.
"You can't watch it now." He's like, "Turn on your TV and watch the ball drop."
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, enjoy your day. Thank goodness we have sun again.
Oh,
I'm like,
Yeah.
I know. I was like, are we gonna be in rain forever?
Everybody got
this
their glasses
week is
for
going to
the
be pretty
eclipse
nice out
tomorrow.
from what I saw.
Oh, the glasses. I know. I don't have solar eclipse glasses.
Oh,
My
I'm in
God.
trouble.
I'll watch it on
I
the
know.
TV.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
It's good to watch on the TV too. A solar eclipse.
Yeah,
So good.
it's happening.
Because it might be
What time?
cloudy anyway. There's
I think it
some,
starts around 2 and goes till around 4:30 is what I heard.
Yeah. I was thinking
Oh,
we
did
shouldn't
we
be
miss it?
we shouldn't be on the road, right?
I would not.
Okay.
Oh, that's
That would be my luck. I do an errand and all of a sudden I'm in like darkness. Like,
Yeah, earthquake.
no, I'm like, I'll just stay here.
Yeah,
and
earthquake
watch.
on Friday, eclipse on Monday. If we'd lived a few hundred years ago, we'd be like, this is the end.
Mhm.
man, we're dying.
I know. It's like Nostradamus times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Port Jeff Village flooded
I
Tuesday
saw that.
night.
I saw that.
Oh no.
Yeah. I know their flooding is just, it gets worse and worse. But I was like, maybe you should try to contain this somehow. But I know. Again, nothing we can control. So
Yeah.
let's control what we can do in our lives.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, enjoy your night, everyone. Happy Sunday.